And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to EPL. It's time for another day and another matchup here as we continue the action for our Super Week. Luminosity are going to be taking on OpTic as OpTic try to push themselves forward, of course, into a safe position to remain within the top 6. They played quite a few of their matches so far, and they're just trying to get all the way through this to play all, I think, 26 matches or so that they have to play for the season.
Yeah, it's a ton.
Yeah.
They played kind of, they were good and bad yesterday. We saw them play Overpass and lost, and that was kind of a head scratcher because obviously Immortals, not in the best place, haven't practiced with their team, had 3 new members, and somehow absolutely crushed OpTic. So I think, you know, they really picked it back up on Cash in the second map, and that was good to see. I think also they were very impressive on Cash. I expect them to play very well on Inferno. I'm not totally surprised by the odds, but I am a little bit curious as to whether or not they might have like a bad map or 2 still left in them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and you definitely not to understand. I think yesterday was more of an example of them kind of going into a matchup assuming that it would be a little bit easier than it actually was. I think, I mean, even the analyst test was kind of assuming, right, that this Immortals roster was going to be in complete shambles and wouldn't really even be able to do like basic strats for the most part. So I think OpTic kind of goes into that match yesterday a little bit unprepared because they thought it was going to be easy, and hopefully now against Luminosity they're going to be a bit more serious about it and ready to face off their opponents here.
Yeah, they should. And it is interesting. I think they have a really good Inferno overall. I mean, I'm not sure how good they think they are at it. And sometimes when you're playing with a new team, you'll like play a map and then you'll just like feel like you're good at it. And sometimes the map that you win on isn't always the map that you like playing the most, which is an interesting correlation that happens with new teams. And you kind of figure out your map pool from there. Like you might come in thinking, all right, we're probably going to be good at this because 3 out of 5 players like playing Inferno. But then you practice it a bunch of times and you're like always losing your matches. You can't actually figure out why. And you realize you're just like a train team or something like that. You have to drop it out. So there's still going to be a lot of development, a lot of figuring themselves out. And yeah, I think they just need to take like go on a vision quest. You know what I mean? They just need to go to the desert together.
Vision?
Yeah, vision quest. Yeah, exactly. Eat some food.
What does one eat in the desert?
Yeah. What's that?
What does one eat in the desert?
Mushrooms are vegetables, right?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think they're. No, they're a fungus.
They're fungus, yeah. Does that mean they're not a vegetable?
Yeah, they're not a vegetable.
Oh, shoot.
Their own class.
Okay.
I think. I'm trying to remember 6th grade
salad,
science
right?
properly. What?
Mushrooms go in salad, right?
Yeah.
So they're a vegetable.
I mean, from a food category, yeah. But from a scientific category, no.
Well,
Very
are we
different.
scientists?
No, we're not. So there we go. All right, guys, well, the match should be starting here in just a couple of moments. I think we were waiting for 1 or 2 players to join here, and we should be going live at any moment. So get ready for the match. Of course, you're going to be seeing some great plays from players like HS, who's really been showing up consistency-wise for the past couple of days. OpTic as well. Magisk has really impressed over these past couple of days. Really come into form now. He's kind of got himself settled into NA, and he's kind of been dominating a lot of these matchups and shown himself to be the star player once again. Yeah,
he's insane. He's definitely going to be like star player once again. It's good to see Freiburg kind of be on point. I think particularly on Inferno hasn't actually played all that well, but again, as the role of caller, I think for at least a while, even if you believe that as a caller you should still have impact, if you're calling for a new team, there's going to be tons of growing pains, and there's going to be a lot more micromanaging now than there will be in the future.
Well, HS is going to get a nice little spot early on here as he just hops his way through the apartments. He's able to catch quite a few players down at the bottom here, and Alu stands right in the open by the mid-choke point as well, so he's going to find himself in contest early on. The rest of Luminosity will move in and take control of those apartments now, and they'll hold positions here. But besides that, not a whole lot of action being taken by this T side. They'll keep their players back at Crossroads, trying to toy around with Banana a little bit, and just keep the options open here. No direct plays or fast openers here, as we sometimes see on the pistol. Nekas is still trying to lurk up that Banana area here too. He's gotten all the way to the point where he can now peek out against Magisk, but Magisk dodges the shots, realizes that things have been getting a little bit too close for comfort, however, and now backs away. But Alum's also going to see pressure, so OpTic won't be able to detect just yet where the hit is coming from, but now Magisk with that kill, he might have seen as that, I believe, was the bomb carrier going down. Alu goes 1 for 1 against Cello, and that will send the bomb over here towards A. At least temporarily, it would seem. They're still trying to make up their mind, to be completely honest. And Magisk, as a result of that confusion, will end up going back down Banana and should be able to scout out most of what's happening here. Now they're going to route through. It does seem like they're going to decide to finally execute onto A. Mixwell has a great position, though, to try and impact himself in the back corner here. And it does seem like we're finally getting a bit of an execute as they push into the site. Smoke will cover off the platform. That leaves Mixwell alone, but he just got dinked down to 11 HP. So, a nice flick from Mixwell there. A takedown Nekis, and now HS, he gets out in the open. It's amazing that Mixwell is still alive. Cello just stuck in a corner, nowhere to go, and Freiburg will shut it down as a team ace from OpTic opens up the night.
Yeah, and they all share the load as everybody gets a kill. Now, I think Mixwell had a really important position being in pit and is always really good at staying alive. You know, when there's a moment in the round where you just need Mix to not get killed, he'll always come through. And here hits a ridiculous flick shot that if he didn't, it probably would have gotten him killed in pit, given up forfeited pit position, and had 2 Ts in there to fight his teammates. And then obviously HS as well, coming in hot with that headshot to make sure that he stayed alive until the end of the round. All tallied up and allowed OpTic to have what seemed like a pretty clean pistol.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was a little dodgy for a second there, but thankfully no one ends up going down on the CT side for the most part, so they keep everybody rolling there. And are able to now get a nice little investment going into the second round here, as we do see pretty much mostly SMGs, but the 2 rifles still going to be showing up here just in case they have to go into a long-range encounter. And Freiburg already got up on top of the half wall here, scouting out for B pressure. You know, they don't have a whole lot of utility just yet, so they're not going to be able to directly apply aggressive smokes down to Banana and look for that early control as we sometimes see. But since there has been no pressure and Freiburg still has his smoke ready to go, he'll toss his down to the bottom. Just trying to delay the movement from Luminosity by as much as possible. And from the positions on Luminosity, it seems like they're going to accomplish that goal quite well.
So we see that Freiburg has so much vision on Banana, but I find it interesting that they're leaving him here alone with the UMP. If they decide to like pop flash through the smoke or any kind of crazy 20% play that you might see on a second round and he dies, then the rotates are so far away they lose Banana, they might lose the round. If they keep 2-3, A site's not that difficult to hold with 3 people versus pistols, and yeah, they can't risk this happening at B. So yeah, now Freiburg sees a flash, falls back to the site. Fortunately for him, doesn't die. I don't know if a smoke's gonna go down in CT. It does, and it allows him to cross because the flash is really good.
Pushing out into the open here now, Magisk is going to have to rotate in very quickly, but Freiburg managing this on his own right now. It's a double kill before going down, and now Magisk can push back in. Yeah, will trade him out, but now he's the last man standing. Does try a fake play. It looks like they're first hops away, but now he's going to commit to it. Should just be able to get it. 1 second left. He'll go down, but at least he got the plant. Yeah,
at least they got the plant. That was kind of their goal of the round. They did spend some money, but with that, they get 2 kills, and overall, it's a pretty good hold from Freiburg. The rotate came in just in time. He played the position safely enough that he couldn't die. And if they did flash through the smoke, being on boosted and being boosted at top Banana was probably relatively safe. And we could see some of these SMG kills coming in to make sure they make the most of their kill reward. So overall, clean round from OpTic, but pretty good from Luminosity to allow them to bolster their economy a little bit more. They're going to be buying some pistols. Oh wow, they're actually spending so much money on pistols. This is really strange, because we're talking about $700 for 3 different pistols in a round where I would anticipate they'd be buying next, even after getting a plant. That's quite curious.
Well, Cello is going to be able to move outside of apartments very quickly to take down HS. Finding him gets a trade at least here. So some damage being done with those upgraded pistols, but still need to make the momentum happen, have their players pushing forward in order to make some progress happen. And oh, actually Cello gets the better of Al. Looked like for a second Alu might have seen him, but no, and now Mix wants to go back in. Quickly trades that kill back out, so at the very least keeping things under control for the CT side here, but now the last 2 after wrapping back down through their spawn area here. Freiburg is going to be alone trying to defend Banana. Actually does get caught off, so the quick pop flash to the ground. Tries to save himself and the self boost up on top. I think Nekis saw him going up on top of those barrels though, so should expect him here, but LG really can't delay this. There's going to be rotates coming immediately. So really only hurting themselves by doing this. And as we see, Freiburg is able to swing out there, taking down Nekis, and that leaves only PKL alive with 13 HP in a 1v3. Trying to pull this off, but not going to happen. Magisk will take him down, so 3-0 to OpTic here.
You can see that OpTic in that, like if Freiburg there dies at top Banana and he gets away by the skin of his teeth, and they allow the bomb to go down, and it's kind of a new round in the post plant. But oh, this is actually interesting. So because they got that plant on the second round, even though they bought those deagles previously, they had enough money for all their needs and everything. I didn't anticipate that, so I guess it's because they got 2 plants in a row that they kind of were allowed to allow themselves to be able to spend so much. so frivolously. Neck is going for top banana control. He is really good at this and a dangerous player, but in the middle of 2 Molotovs, a man can only last so long.
Yeah.
Dies to the flames.
So he ends up burning out there, and the early kill goes by the way of OpTic again here. Now, the question is, do they leave Freiburg alone once more? Now they got this early kill, or are they going to stick around here? It looks like for now, Magisk is staying, but after the smoke toss out...
That's a good trap, by the way, to throw the bottom molly first. So you can at least, if people want to rush and there's 5 coming up banana, the first 2 in front of the Molotov, they'll commit, and then you can throw the Molotov or the close one second, and then if they want to run back, they have to run through 2 Molotovs, as opposed to throw the close one first.
Well, we see mid pressure coming back in here now at the choke point, so it is going to cause the OpTic players to rotate back on the B side just a little bit there. Still keeping both of them here, however, ready to defend, so Luminosity, the pressure at mid choke really has not accomplished anything at all, besides just usage of utility. And now Luminosity will have to rotate back over here towards the cover spot to get ready for an execute inside, and OpTic already know that's a possibility, so they use their second smoke here to block off the choke point going into the site at the edge of banana. And again, we'll just waste more time. Luminosity for the 2nd round in a row now have to run it very, very close to the timer. And they don't have a whole lot to get in with, just the basic couple of smokes here. They have 1 molly sitting on Yell, but it looks like they're saving that for post-spawn. As they go out, Freiburg takes a big risk right into the open. He'll go 1 for 1. Now Magisk going to fire off here too. He's forced back into coverage though after he spams the first player unsuccessfully. But he does get another trade out there on the showtime before going down to Cello. So left into a 3v2. OpTic with a great chance to retake here. Bit limited on utility, however, for the CT side, so they will have to be careful. The Ts are suffering from the same exact thing. And now OpTic move in from all 3 different choke points. They spot Cello behind the crypts here. That's going to let Alu move up relatively safely, and Yell does not last long at all. Mixwell immediately takes him out, and it's another round for OpTic, 4-0.
Overall, the Behold was pretty decent. I think that you look at Freiburg and you see him kind of leaving his teammates, and you think, oh, that's kind of a risky play. But the reason he did it is because they had to run through a smoke, and he realized that with the amount of time that they bought, that they were going to certainly execute through it. So when they threw the pool flashes and him running in front of it, he had an out in the fact that, all right, they know they have to enter, and they're probably pretty frantic. And it doesn't really make sense to have the smoke throw down if people are going to run through it and you're not even going to watch them coming out of the smoke, because that's where your best advantage is going to come from. So it looked a little crazy. Only ended up getting 1 kill from it because the flash dodges were really good from Luminosity, but otherwise it was a sound play. We set up in the default round 5. People playing very far back. One advantage for the op on CT side, as we just saw, was the ability to see all the way down mid, cut to T steps, make it very difficult for Ts to get comfortable, 5 seconds out of spawn. So looking for alternate routes. We have Cello jumping up into apartments, which is one way to kind of circumvent any pressure at mid, but it's dangerous all on its own for both sides. Can be unfun as a CT as it is on the T, looking for apartments control.
Yeah. And now OpTic knows they're inside apartments here, so they're going to move forward a little bit here and put Mixwell on top of the shed. He's actually on the sidewall right now, but he should be able to crawl back there if he needs to. Getting up onto the other platform here, basically just waiting for Luminosity to execute. But what they don't know, especially considering this heavy pressure outside by the porch area, is that there is going to be just a waterfall drop coming out of the balcony. And they go now, 2 players out. One does get caught up on top, but that will leave PKL open for a trade here. And now Porch players are going to try to look for revenge. There's a good flash that should delay things a little bit here, give better time for preparation, and there we go. 2 quick kills, now 3 for OpTic, and PKL already low at 15 HP, so Freiburg will finish that off, and OpTic take quick control again.
The good thing for Luminosity was they got pick control, which was huge since Magisk was the 1 person on A site. They had an arch player and then 2 up at lane. That was probably kind of scary for OpTic once they did lose pick control, but we can see Mixwell holding his ground, staying up here, and has the ability to watch over a smoke, which probably benefited him even further. And his teammate right beside him, and they both contributed with their kills. So Luminosity, even with that control of it, couldn't really get onto the site without making sure that Mixwell or anyone at lane was dead.
Catching 1 player, jumping back into him. HS also finds a frag early on here too, so the eco from Luminosity at the moment just not really going anywhere, and there you go. It's shut down in just a matter of seconds. And again, no one from OpTic going down. HS also dominating 4 players that time, so great stuff from him. OpTic massively building up their economy with wins like this too.
Forgot to mention as well that the biggest problem was that they had 4 players total A, and basically every round OpTic are kind of obsessed with playing 4A, but also they're able to get away with it. So that's going to be one of the biggest problems that Luminosity need to fight against, is fighting for banana control, whether it be early or late, but never letting OpTic think that they can just play 1 person there safely.
Well, it'll be a 1-to-1 trade this time. as HS takes another risk, goes right out into the open here by window room, and unfortunately will lose his life to Nekaz. Or excuse me, to Cello. But Nekaz will be the one that goes into the window room there, takes up a position. And this could get interesting because you still have Mixwell posted up very far forward where the old dark room used to be too. So they're going to spam into that. They might realize that he's out here, actually. They're trying to look for him, but Mixwell gets the better of them anyway, and he does spot the bomb outside of apartments. Not necessarily usable info just yet, but with Magisk also getting a kill back over here towards the A site, clears things out even further. They will leave Alu to defend B since he has the op right now. It has been Freiburg prior to this, which was an interesting note considering the analysts were talking earlier about how Freiburg had been primarily playing A, but he's now over here at Banana for the most part. This run's an exception to that, but...
Yeah, so he's kind of switched back to B, it seems, for whatever reason, but for the whole every other game of the season, I think he's been playing at A site. And I'm not sure what caused the change, but just as we were talking about at the beginning of the match, with a new team and they're learning new maps, a lot of things are going to change in the next like weeks and months. So it's not surprising to me that we see like a role switch or just a positional change. It could be either because he wanted to play Banana or because someone at Banana didn't want to play Banana anymore.
Well, PKL.
Oh, wow. He just missed the rotator there.
And PKL's not going to be able to spot Freiburg necessarily either. He's taking a big risk on creeping this far forward without any utility. And yeah, Mixwell will just pop right back up. I believe he's playing Graveyard to take him down. Magisk from the pit finishes off the last one. And it's another very, very clean round from OpTic. Only one player goes down. You can see this by the money. 4 to 5 players were over 10K before they bought stuff on this round.
Luminosity are losing a lot of steam. They haven't gotten a plant, and because they don't have a plant here, they've actually got to think about whether or not they want to buy. They've started to resort to their fast strats on Inferno. They do this very often, where they'll if they start off the rounds winning by playing pretty slowly, they'll continue to do that, and as soon as it doesn't work, they'll try to throw in a couple of rush strats, which is a natural adaptation technique that you want to use as a team, is to be able to change up the tempo to see if that's what catches the other team off guard. In this circumstance, neither style has worked, and they haven't been able to get away with rushes at all. Even on their eco rounds now, they're not even getting into the sites. OpTic are starting to get a lot better at Banana, and I wonder if this is maybe Freiburg's first match playing on Banana, so I'm not sure, but they're deciding to buy off the back of this. Yell is going to be the man to take a full set of grenades. PKL had enough money to do both. But yeah, finding a plant is going to be what's mainly on their mind right now as they move it to another round with full loss bonus.
Yeah, and OpTic's starting to get a little bit more aggressive here too, which means they can get earlier reads as to what exactly Luminosity is trying to do from this T-side perspective. It's just not leaving a whole lot of room here for Luminosity to get too creative, because if they try anything crazy, OpTic, as we've seen multiple times already, will just push directly into them, trying to knock them out or at least get an early kill. But this time, it's going to be Showtime from Luminosity that gets the first kill. Catches Mixwell there through the smoke and is able to take him down. So that will be the first kill going by the way of Luminosity for really the first time in a while here. Now they have to build upon this and actually make the execute work. This is where things have fallen apart before. They've been torn to shreds by members of OpTic. HS is going to start off with one, but he goes down afterwards. Alu picks it right back as he does have a small window through the smoke here. Spots the legs of another player. He'll be unsuccessful in taking the shot, but Magisk will also go 1 for 1 as he works his way out from the graveyard area there. 2v2, an even fight now, but Freiburg was not expecting an aggressive push, and Nekaz not only takes Freiburg down, but then goes right back to finish it off with a kill on Alu.
This is a big individual performance from both Yell and Nekaz as they just find all those kills at mid. Don't even have to, once again, go for a bomb plant, which actually would have been nice for them, but you know, they'll take the round first and foremost. So wow, look at that, just like almost a straight up refire as he anticipates the trade to come out, rewarded with that as well. That's sick. That's super sick.
It's OpTic.
I was gonna say, it's just it's kind of sad that they went for what looked like an A take, and then because of a bad smoke at Arch, that round almost fell apart, where Ali was able to like find a kill and, you know, almost found a second one. As you mentioned, he saw those feet, so it all could have turned into a disaster right there, but they're very fortunate. They've got to do that again.
Well, as we do start to see Luminosity pressuring up Banana a little bit more here this time, OpTic are not going to be as aggressive anymore. We don't see them staying out at the car spot too long. Nade goes out, does an okay amount of damage, nothing really remarkable, however. We'll move in with their own utility to try to push them back. It's actually really well done. The molly at old car spot and then the smoke to just block off their vision. So now these two playing in B can push right back in and retake old car position. So that just kills all of the map control that Luminosity had gotten up to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was only one half of their grenades. So Freiburg still has 2 pieces of important delay utility in his molly and his smoke. Here he refreshes the smoke at 50 seconds left. He's got a molly for if they try to execute, which is even more valuable because they're going to assume that they might forget that there might be an extra Molotov here, or they might assume that he doesn't have one. And I would like to see them go B and see if this Molotov actually does have an effect. Because then, you know, for a team that's looking at this to try to improve their CT sides, they can look to see how this like re-aggression on Banana and how much they delayed, how much that actually factored into the win apart from the frags. And it looks like we will get to see that right here. He's going to be able to delay for 7 seconds. They're going to have to run through a molly.
Luminosity getting ready here now to push forward up and get ready to execute. So in they go. There's the molly. It does come in a little bit late, so that's going to let the first couple of players go through. And what's even worse, Freiburg and Magisk go down with no trades at all. Luminosity make it work. Now look at the plant, and Showtime also lurking into the other site here is going to take down an additional player. HS falls. That really does not leave room for Alu and Mixwell to retake here. So they are sitting on the outskirts of the site. I don't believe they're going to push in to actually retake here. So the round will go to Luminosity, 2-7.
Ah, that's tough. I just eat my words because they just, the molly comes out. I mean, the molly was based on the reaction of like a C in the smoke getting thrown in CT because they're going to throw that 100% so they don't have to run through crossfire. If Freiburg had thrown that molly a little bit farther to the left, they would have had to either stand in it or run through it, but they definitely had to go through it to get to the bomb site. So that from that you see, all he had to do was like anticipate or just not throw it so deep into Banana. Then they would have had to fight him in the fire. But overall, they forced their way into sight on a very important round. That's a good kill. Very important kill as well. OpTic are still going to be able to buy, fortunately for them, after that blunder. It's kind of sad to see that it is such a good job on B and then end up losing in that fashion. But too many ESL bugs.
Yeah, always fun. So Mixwell is going to be 30% of his HP gone right at the start of the round. Ooh, Nekas ends up in a bad spot too, as that smoke just completely covered the molly. So he takes a little bit of damage on the way back out. He's going to lose that damage right back. So a trade, I suppose, that could be called, as we will see those guys being brought down to equal HP about. And now, with the aggression from Magisk, he's going to be up on top of the half wall here, ready to reapply that smoke, just trying to hold Luminosity back, playing more standard aggressive B, but oh, this is different. Now Magisk is even going to push forward up to the smoke. And we'll have to just wait and see what he does from here. If he's just going to sit in this corner, or if he'll wait for potentially an A execute to come out from Luminosity and try to punish that, or even if obviously they rush up Banana and they'll check that corner.
So Freiburg's always been playing top Banana, and then once they spot him, they fall back. So there's actually a likelihood that they don't clear Magis here, or that he at least gets one kill before the trade comes out. And he's playing a spot that you'd play, what I'd say is like a spot you play once every 3 rounds, or once every 4 rounds. And it's not one that you can get away with it, because if you get hard cleared, you get killed instantly. But if you have a teammate to bait attention away from you, the setup can actually work really well. And if they go A, we know that OpTic likes to play 4A, but Magis is all the way at the bottom Banana, so he's on a fast rotate.
So now we will see Luminosity grouping their players up to push back in. They do check for Magisk, but it's a double take here, so Magisk is able to get at least 1 kill off. Looks like he damages PKL pretty nicely as well, bringing him down to 20, but that does put all the pressure on Freiburg, who doesn't immediately want to take contest. He has a good flashbang out there. Fires, so might have given away his position partially, or at least make them look towards a certain area here, but it doesn't look like they got it too well, so as they're going to move in here.
10 seconds.
Not a lot of time to plant. They haven't cleared out his corner yet. He's going to move in, gets the first kill, and now they have to delay. They have to focus on the plant here, so Cella's going to hold it back, but no. Now we can go back out and kill the planter, but Yell does save the day. That lets the plant go back onto the ground, but very quickly, the retaking force from OpTic is going to move in and shut down those last 2 players.
It's like clockwork, man. Luminosity, you saw the double take on the bottom Banana. Like, he cleared it, but... And we all do that. We don't like commit hard enough. We think, okay, we're going through the motions. Let's look at this angle, but we're like half not expecting someone to be there. I mean, that's just an individual error. If you're clearing an angle, you have to expect that someone's going to be there. Otherwise, why clear it, right? Why waste your time? So a little bit of a misstep can maybe cost them the round, as they didn't have an extra person to get to the back of the site to help trade out Freiburg, who did a great job of delaying, and then on just an individual basis, putting 2 kills on the board.
Oh. Alu this time around here tries to go peeking out by Old Car, but Yell, in a great spawn position, was able to get himself very far forward, very quickly up towards Banana here, moves in, just destroys Alu, and that'll give Luminosity an early advantage to play off of. And now he has his forward spot too. Oh, almost hits that one as well. In fact, you can see it to a certain degree here. Now, Freiburg just trying to escape. He uses that smoke to block it off, but then almost gets hit anyway. And he decides to stick around, actually, behind the sandbags position. He will get the extra support from Magisk, so it is a 3-man commitment here. And I think Luminosity catch on to that once they realize that Alu had played over here now. So they're going to start to push in towards B, and already they found an entry. Mixwell moving out. They're not going to expect to find a second player around Rapside, but he only can get 1 kill again. That leaves Freiburg and Magisk alive on the other side of the map. But same as before, really, a 4v2. There's just not really a good chance for them to move back in. They do move towards the outskirts of the site, most notably Magisk, but more than likely this will be for exits and just to see if they can poke in and get a kill really quickly. The round itself will probably end up going into Luminosity's hands unless this kill propels them into a position to actually attempt the retake.
Still an opportunity to win. One player kind of low. Two players in pretty good positions with the time ticking down. Info and one guy is traded and no kills made. So
Freiburg's kind of stuck here now too. He can't necessarily just walk right away as that's going to give it out. So he knows he has showtime on a rope. He's still going to go for this too, but ultimately will go down to Cello. At the very least, they do damage, keeping it down to just 2 players for LG, but the round will be lost. And that'll be number 3 for LG.
So I think there's a match I think we casted with Luminosity and LG on Inferno. And it was like a really good start for LG, like 7-2. And then I said that Liquid are going to come back and get a lot of rounds in this half. And that was because every single round they won, if Luminosity were getting really random opening kills. Like they're either like pushing up through a mid smoke or a bad mid smoke or throwing, they're capitalizing on it. And they're doing a good job of that. The same thing happened on that round and in one other round they won. On every other round that they're 5v5 and this condition existed even when they played versus other teams, if they aren't able to find that opening kill or a team doesn't give them the opening kill, they always end up waiting way too long or simply not having a plan for what to do at the end of the round. So a lot of what they do is structured around getting the opening kill, which is important, but it doesn't seem like they have a fallback strategy. And I think that teams, as long as they stay alive long enough, will win the majority of rounds just by delaying them.
The second pause is going to be utilized there by OpTic, just to try to figure out their economy situation and how to start countering out LG since they are picking up rounds here now. They end up with a pretty suboptimal buy, 2 5.7s, and then 3 rifles. The op on Alu, and it's glass cannon at that too, so they do get the op, but just nothing else to support it, so he's going to have to be very, very careful with how he positions himself. Playing on Rap side right now, Yell, who has been kind of the entry player, even though he's the opper for a lot of Luminosity's takes here, moves in, but Alu is ready for it this time. So he's going to drop that T-sided up, and PKL thinking about moving in there, at the very least trying to retrieve the gun. Alu does not want a wide swing here so that he can challenge towards Boiler, simply because he will be in the open with no armor here. Even with the lesson name punch, it's still going to be rough to take those shots if he gets tagged. Just goes for one more hit and will eventually fall back, and this will give Luminosity free control, at least up towards the Rap side, where Alu now waits further back, closer to the site. And Mixwell's making a move here too. Look at this. Oh my goodness, he's going to walk right up onto these guys in Boiler and potentially outside as well.
This is why you want Hall's controls as a T.
And so Mixwell's going to be able to, like I said, walk right up there. They do lose HS a second later, and that will also stop Mixwell from getting any more free kills here. But at the very least, translates well, makes it a 1-for-1, and it still keeps OpTic in a good position here now.
Yeah, but yeah, and even with Hall's control, even if they went up lane, he would still be there as a threat to kill the planner. He could come in for the after plant from a really, really, really powerful position as long as they don't have pick control. And now they're going to try to go into the site, but he's actually switched up, so...
Mine only with a 5-7 granted, but in that corner that's probably going to be a relatively close fight unless LG wide swings, so we can still take that. And you of course have Alu still waiting here too. He's going to get pressured, the time very low again. Have they seen him yet? They do now, but he's going to be able to get one, and the confusion makes it work for Mixwell as he gets a double at the end of it and shuts things down for OpTic Gaming on just a half buy for those 2 players. HS and Mixwell only had the pistols and then the 3 rifles that were bought up on the top 3 there.
Whoever's calling for LG needs to be a little bit more decisive here. The clock is at 5, 4, 3 seconds, so they didn't even have enough time to plant, even though Mixwell goes through and gets those kills. It's fortunate for OpTic because they just like stay alive, get more money, like pick up guns, do more damage to Luminosity, but they're making a play they didn't even have enough time to do. Alu being very aggressive. Someone's spotting down mid for him? Yeah, there is.
He just showed up kind of late. So that's going to keep him safe. Freiburg getting tagged. Down to 26 HP, so he's probably going to have to back up here. Magisk, however, tagging him right back. Taking down Nekes, bringing Yell very low, but Yell, nicely shot. Long range with the Deagle. Takes one down. Now HS, though, ready to take the fight over here at the 4th position. Is going to trade out some of these kills. Alu actually with a missed shot, but let's HS roll right back in there to finish things off. PKL goes spamming with the Deagle. Nothing to find as Freiburg is falling back to the site itself. And so, Luminosity with these last 2 are going to attempt to brute force their way into B, but Freiburg waits with low HP granted, but he's also going to get support from Alu here in a second. So he'll have that op in the back to back him up, and Freiburg spots 1, closes out on the second 2, spamming it out, knows he did a good job there, and OpTic now into double digits here while still in the first half.
Yeah, rounds are still coming by very easily. Plan's still a big problem for Luminosity, and yeah, they've been quite poor. In total, we've had 5 in this half, which is not like an awful score line, but because these like most recent ones haven't been, we can see how that affects their economy. They want to buy because they want that 5-10 half at the very minimum. moving into the second half. This is a map that some argue is even T-sided at this point, so you could say this is a pretty drastic round or scoreline.
Looks like Luminosity are going to go a lot faster this time. Look, already through mid-choke one here, trying to wrap around the flash on Alu, leaving completely blind too. Nekas will get hit by that, but there's no one else on Rap side to challenge that. And now quickly we're seeing OpTic players trying to fall back towards Pit and Sight. HS not even going to be able to get to Sight in time. This is great momentum coming out here from LG, but some of it is going to be shut down by the members of OpTic here as both HS and Mixwell pick up kills. That sends Yell and Showtime back a little bit here to reevaluate their positions, but they quickly pick up 2 more kills after that. Taking down Mixwell and HS, getting revenge for the loss of their 2 teammates from before. Freiburg, I believe, knows that some of these players are low, so he's going to start creeping towards the site to look for the clutch here. But his first target is going to be the worst one here. Oh! Just taps right onto him, though, and takes him down. Now the rest are easy. He's even got a smoke to try and block something off when he goes into this site. He's going to try to block off the actual platform itself. I think, ooh,
yeah, that's
actually a little, I think the bounce there kind of messed it up.
You could use it to clear Pit, but oh, there we go.
Goes in, the spray's a bit messy, but he gets the job done. Spams onto his enemy there too. Now over to the pistol as he is out of ammo, but he's going to be able to close out. And Freiburg, we'll see some great stuff from him as he pulls out with the 1v3 clutch. And that'll secure the 11th round now for OpTic.
So well played. So that's like a strategy you want to use if you're like taking the site, is to throw that smoke down so that you can clear Pit, because Pit is one of the most annoying angles you have to deal with. And Freiburg missed his smoke a little bit, so to make up for it, he actually throws a flash and jumps over the crack in the smoke, gets that guy in Pit, and the last guy, PKL. If he didn't shoot back at him, Freiburg would have questions as to whether or not he was there, but because PKL had an open shot, probably missed an opportunity. He gave away his position and then had a fight against Freiburg, who was hungry and definitely ready. So very, very nicely played 1v3, and especially having the awareness to check mid.
Al's going to peek directly into mid-choke again here in the aggressive stance that he's been taking for the last quite a few rounds here now, and Nekas.
Oh my god, yeah, so they caught him in the mollies once again. They just throw that molly in the back and the one in the front afterwards, and Nekas is trying to do this thing where, like, he's trying to be Phelps, basically, by running to the top banana and just, like, trying to get through smoke to go even 1-for-1s, because sometimes he opens up the entirety of banana by himself, but they've just centered their banana play around making sure that he dies.
LG are going to realize that there are 3 players, or were 3 players playing towards B here now, so they'll switch up the hit over towards an A play. You do have HS close to the porch side to try and watch out for this, and Alu here too, but that's the only defense matrix that they have set up for this A side currently. So if they go out towards balcony, there's nothing there to defend him. What's even worse, HS misses his first opportunity for a kill. Alu is going to be caught trying to jump onto the platform too, so the fast-paced play works out for LG. Freiburg and Mixwell are going to attempt to clutch this. This might be asking a little bit too much of Freiburg, however, and indeed, he goes down to Showtime. So Luminosity at least getting 1 more there towards the end of the half, but it's still dominant for OpTic Gaming as they take control 11-4 here. Stick with us, folks, to find out if LG can run it back to the second half or if it's going to be OpTic domination to start off the evening.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
And we are back, folks. Luminosity, unfortunately, don't really show up to impress here on their first half of T-side in Inferno. Pretty uninnovative T-side strategies for the most part there, and a lot of indecision causes OpTic to dominate most of the early half. We see them battling back towards the end a little bit there, but still only able to put up 4 rounds in the first half, and OpTic, as a result, obviously hold that nice, strong 11-round lead.
You definitely said it best. There was a lot of indecision and a lot of emphasis on individual plays saw Nekis try to be very stubborn about getting to top banana, so you've seen maybe his idols do it better. And he has been good at it in the past, but because, you know, OpTic just had so much money, it was like Molotovs every single round. And, you know, if you really want to get up here, it's going to be through a nade, through 2 mollies, and if you want to leave, well, you've got to do it through fire. And he actually died to 100 damage to Molotovs 2 times in 1/2 on rifle rounds. And that's a big number to think about, considering you only get 5 or 6, maybe in a half. So now Luminosity look forward potentially to playing CT side, where they can think more about their individual play as opposed to doing things coordinated with strategy.
Well, getting back into the swing of things here, OpTic starting off on their T side are going to be holding up a crossroads, and this is a very hit or miss thing that we've seen them do a couple of times. Yeah, Yell's going to swing out here. They're ready for it this time, it would seem, though, as they pick up the 2 kills. The Yell and Neck is trying to push back out. That's not going to fly very well for the CT side at all. And now Cello has to kind of rotate in. He's still alone, though. He hasn't got any additional support, you know, at all. PKL is going to be trying to rotate back in. The smoke is not the greatest, so he can try to do something here, but Magis basically expects that, so he just posts right up, is able to get an easy headshot. And Showtime, not much he can do. It's a 1v5. Oh, ooh, I think he saw him just as he was turning.
Wow, the timing on that.
Gonna go out, gets that kill at least. So something at the end of the rainbow, but still he's gonna be pressured as OpTic know they've got this round in the bag, so they're gonna go in, hunt him down, and after the 1 loss of Mixwalt, they trade him out, taking that Showtime, and OpTic securing the lead to start off the second half.
So, I mean, obviously, you get those 2 kills, it's like, go planet B, right? But what was interesting to me is, like, you see that Cello was actually there in time to play CT, partially because he went to B at the beginning of the round, so he wasn't that far to begin with, but he still ended up getting back to Arch when his 2 teammates died at bottom banana. So you can see that because when you have bottom banana control or you push that far, even if you do die, it buys enough time for an A player to rotate, or at least make some of the distance back to come in and help. And maybe Cello makes a hero play in that situation, but we can see that's kind of why they wanted to push.
Mixwalt, he's going to be trying to force it up here now. It does find Nekis out in the open since Yell took the sandbags position. And now they just have to look for Yell. Oh, Yell, nicely done, actually. He's going to be able to get one on the Freiburgers. He pushes up just a little bit too far there. So he's ready to take that fight. Mixwalt trades it, though, so OpTic still very much in control of this situation. That's Luminosity really just looking for damage at this point, trying their best to upset in this round. Oh, but just almost being challenged up by PKL. In fact, he might not expect him to be right by the hay barrels here, but he's got another problem to deal with here now as all these players push back in. Does great damage to 2, but only kills 1. And OpTic, again, making the better of a bad situation. They move in, they trade it out much better, and Cello left alone again in a 1v3.
He's going to come in hot with his tiger print.
Oh, what?
CZ.
How did
Oh, what just happened?
Did he just jump off balcony and die? All right, we'll have that on replay later to figure out what exactly happened there. I heard a molly too, so that might have been it. But we'll see here as Cello's going to attempt to clutch this 1v2. There is an MP7 on the ground.
Oh, is it still a 1v3?
Headshot 2, tries to go to the pre-fire.
He's got no time.
Yeah, he's going to back out here as he knows he can't do it. So just try to keep Alu close to the site. Goes for the interception 2, but Alu, he knows what to do. He'll just head right into the corner there, keep himself alive. He'll survive it with 14 HP.
All right, we're going to figure out, we're going to see aside this right now.
Let's do some detective work here. What exactly happened?
Oh my god, it's a nade? Oh, yes.
No. Best part is he like instantly realizes it too and tries to run from it.
Oh my god, sound effect. 12 by the way.
Yeah, 13 a bay. Yeah. So let's see here. A little unfortunate, but thankfully they still win the round here. Yell's going to be forced back out as LG are pretty much on their full save round. Cello keeps the armor and CZ off of the last round here, but that's really all they're going to carry in if they actually purchase this time. Cello doing a little bit of work, however. Low on ammo now, though. He does have to find space to go for the reload here. HS is going to move out, take out his teammate in the site, and Mixwell will tear apart the B defense. That's an open plan if they want one. They know Cello's the last man alive, so they might just go to try and hunt him down. HS with actually a successful HE grenade toss this time. But it won't connect onto Cello as he's just falling back to the site, elongating this round. But OpTic know they have control of B, so they'll just go for the plant.
Pretty easy road to 14 rounds right here. HS or Cello, I should say, is he's obviously way too far away to get anything done. He's going to be contemplating life, maybe the next map. Oh. You really do see the damage fall off from the CZ at that distance. It's like, it dinks for like 60 damage now or something really, really It's really rough, and the accuracy is low too, but it's still the best $500 pistol.
Yeah. Some people just can't use it though, for whatever reason. I just can't get used to it.
Are you speaking in the third person?
No.
No, you like the CZ?
No, yeah, I mean, it's like situational for me. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
I'm not, I'll talk about this for a second. Yell's gonna move out, but Mixwell kind of wrecks him there. Neckes as well, fails to trade, so there we go, that's an open B site in the first 15 seconds of the round. And they'll quickly smoke it back off and everything, so they'll have good control. Cello along with Showtime are gonna attempt to rotate back in, but they're gonna be boxed out here, so I don't even know if they're going to attempt it. Yeah, it looks like they're backing up now. The one attempt to get a kill fails, so that's the end of it right there. PKL and Showtime will back away. And OpTic, well, they'll go up to map point here.
If a team decides to force up on the second round, they're going to be somewhat low on utility moving into the first 5-4 rounds. OpTic Gaming see a keen opportunity to rush B, and because Luminosity came into the second half with very few rounds, you can almost guarantee that they're going to try to win the force-up. Which I have to say, there's been a lot less wins on the force-ups, which is good. I think, right? It feels like there has been just overall in Pro League.
People are kind of adjusting to it now. I think the CZ coming back was throwing people off a little bit there, but they've adjusted to it now.
Yeah, they've adjusted to it. I think also, you know, with just like the Tech 9 but not being as good, the 5.7 not being as good. It's nice. Yeah, it's really nice. Because you still feel like you have a chance, which is what you want. Everyone wants to have fun. But ultimately, you see the rifles win the round, which is great. So that's cool.
So things make sense.
Yeah,
essentially.
And they've also they also ended up kind of buffing the pistols by removing aim punch with or lessening aim punch with the armor, so improving the second round on a round where you maybe won't want to buy armor, and still giving you a chance with the pistol to get a kill. So good stuff, Valve.
Nicely done.
It worked out.
Some good changes to make it better.
Yeah.
Well, we've got Mixwell pushing back up through Banana here now. Will be Molly's in the way this time, and a smoke too, but Mixwell's already inside of that smoke. He knows there's nothing an old car. Regardless, he'll fall back. A little bit of spam from Yell connects. Nothing serious, however. Magisk in the meanwhile, oh, this could be fun. Showtime and Yell, or PKL seems to be waiting in the hall. They both get completely wrecked by that flashbang, though. Now, here's the kicker. I don't think, no, PKL did not shoot. But they're going to hear the footsteps now, and the T's pull out anyway. So could have been a chance for him to find some revenge. Not going to happen. Now Cello ends up getting taken down here by Magisk. Just 3 remain for the CT side. 2 of them playing onto B. 1 on A. It's PKL hiding out by Porch now. But OpTic are going to bypass that. They think B is the safer site. They'll be wrong about that. But they will still go for the execute here anyway.
Nick is playing Cold Zera, his other idol.
Let's see OpTic lineup for the execute here now. Molly's all over the site. Yell is going to get flashed out. Wow, this is actually a really great crossfire setup there. OpTic just had no response to that at all. And Luminosity, beautifully done, completely shut down that 4-man push.
Hell yeah. That was nice. I mean, that was just good teamwork, and Neck is getting the 2 kills. The angle that Neck is, we're actually going to watch Yell push through the smoke, so that, I mean, that's really nice. Just, if you time that properly, you can get away with that at almost any level, right? But what's cool about the angle that Neck has used, and it's like an angle that Cold Zera uses a lot. I wouldn't necessarily call it Cold Zera, but he really likes it. And it's so versatile because you can just shimmy your way to the left or the right and line yourself up with any bit of the wall that you want. And, oh wow, that Molotov is doing damage, but Mixwell's still alive. Is Neck is off? No, he's not.
Molly's going to do 10 damage to Neck as though pushing back a little bit further. That should give Mixwell room to escape here, since he did get brought down pretty low because of those Mollies tagging him every once in a while.
But I was going to say that angle on the fountain, it just, you can pick a part of the fountain where people are going to come up the wall and they're going to be clearing quad when you peek them, and that's why it's so nice to use sometimes.
Neckes realizes that these players were falling back, so should have been able to call that out. The thing is, though, is they are going to be working their way back up Banana here now, and obviously Alu had this massive flank due to Luminosity not having any pressure on Rap side at all. So look at this, Alu's going to walk right in. They don't, oh, great spot there by Cello there. Just as barely able to catch that and take down Alu. That could have been disastrous had you not seen that. Still, an even 4v4, however. And that should have sounded the alarm to the A players, but they're still sticking steadily on the A site, so no sign of a rotate just yet. As in theory, Alu could have potentially just been a player splitting off there to kill the rotators.
Called it.
Now the Execute's going to be moving back in, smoke in the middle of the site to isolate the presence from Luminosity, and it works out great. Nekaz goes down. Cello trying to hold off here. He does actually hold this off for the time being, and the smoke being imperfect is going to let him try to take a few of these 1v1s. He only wins the first one, however, and then HS trades that back up. And now the smoke is gone, so they can't necessarily get a clean trade, so they're just going to take the duels and win it out that way. And that's going to be OpTic, ladies and gentlemen, taking control of Inferno. They start off the day with a win, going up 1-0.
Yeah, in the first half, it was basically textbook nades that allowed them to control B, get that opening kill way more often than Luminosity were able to exploit them for. In the second half, it was banana control in a way that Luminosity couldn't get for themselves in the first half. So overall, super dominant.
All right, and with that said, let's take it over to our analysts to break down map number 1. Guys?
Yes, that's what we're doing over here, breaking it down, and I don't mean on the dance floor. I'm kidding. Look, guys, we had a great matchup here, but I think the name of the game might be banana control.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how Nekaz, he's kind of their B defaulter on LG, how he decides to go fast early on in the half, especially after losing pistol round and the ensuing anti-ecos. If you were to draw like a 4-quadrant box, it's kind of like if you lose to pistol round and the anti-ecos, you have less money. You usually don't work fast on your first default because you're going to have less nades than them. But he decides to work fast and he gets mollied out and killed immediately on the first gun round. So it's kind of like they're trying to play the tempo game from the wrong side, and we'll explain it a little more when we see this.
Well, let's take a look at our first replay. It's going to be round number 4, and I'm not sure. I think it was you fixed this, James?
Yeah, I picked this one for what I just said. Basically, Nekaz is working it fast on the first gun round, which is a problem because you don't see what the CTs are going to bring to you the rest of the half, right? So he's literally in the middle of 2 mollies there, and he can't do anything about it. He didn't get to shoot a single bullet. He threw one of his nades, so he died with, I think, like $800 of nades on his back and didn't shoot a single bullet. So not really a fruitful way of approaching the first default round. I would have suggested going a little slower, and they should have a recipe for how to take banana control slowly if the CTs do smoke it out if they molly, because that's why we have the longer round times now. That's why we have the shorter bomb timers, right? It's so we can work places like banana and be patient and wait out the smokes.
And even in this new version of banana, it kind of opens it up so that it's not so much of a problem where you've got smoke after smoke after smoke after smoke just holding the entire
because the skybox is now closed. You can't re-smoke banana from arch side mid, which was basically what made the French teams like G2 and Envy basically own that map for an entire year.
Pretty much shut off the entire access of that part of the map. Let's load up now round number 9. We see Luminosity kind of slow it down.
So to kind of counteract what James said, they're a little slower. They're making little, see yells, kind of pushing up a tiny bit, but it's just kind of a ruse to make noise to see if they're pushing. And Luminosity, they're slowing it down. They're going to go more of a default. You see Cello's watching for the push, and this is to bait out nades, to bait out those early Molotovs, as we saw in the previous one where OpTic was throwing a whole bunch of nades. And so you want to push OpTic back, wait out the round, like slow it down. And
that's a really smart Molotov there too, because it allows you to clear sandbag without having to worry about like the pool side.
And as you see later in the round, they re-execute here with about 30 seconds left. They're about to hit B, and so this is pretty good for Luminosity, where now when they hit B, there's less flashes, there's less smokes, there's less Molotovs, and it puts OpTic in a weird situation. If you don't have 3 people there or hit like 1 or 2 amazing shots, they're going to be a bit in a weird situation. See, it catches off Freiberg and Magic's Boy, who just gets ran over just on that B timing. So maybe if they did that in the first gun round, could have been a whole different game. I don't know. Yeah,
I completely echo that sentiment. I think that round right there at 7-1, if you want to learn how to play T-side Inferno and kind of just like to the constraints of the map itself, I think they played it perfectly, right? You get bracket control, leave a guy there to mess with the guys rotating through arch, and then you take B late when they have no nades, right? That's kind of like almost the default recipe on Inferno.
Sort of textbook, if you will. By the book, the way to do it. And I mean, even looking at this even further, Luminosity not really finding any footing in the first half. The OpTic CT side was just, there it was. It's undeniably the numbers show for themselves. But let's take a look at what they did in the second half in their pistol round. And I think you picked this one, James?
Yeah, I picked this one because it seemed like Luminosity felt like they needed to make something happen, and I felt like they did that way too early on in this pistol round. Right, like walk pushing banana is something that just doesn't work unless people are committed. Hey, those angles at the bottom of banana are just too severe to check, especially against people with Glocks. And the funny thing too is that Luminosity had a similar setup as OpTic did on their T pistol. Right, they left 2 guys bottom T pit to wait for banana push. yet they do that themselves and walk push it and run into the same thing that they set up against OpTic the first pistol round.
Yeah,
so
I think if Luminosity, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I think if Luminosity wanted to push like that, you should have some noise or distractions in middle. So maybe it forces the T's to kind of pay attention a little bit towards middle. So when you
or even just a deep flashbang, right?
Yeah.
You could throw a flash into T pit from car position that would just like they're just done right there. All three of them are standing there. It's $200 for 3 kills. Hey,
well, there you go.
Easy money. Doing something strange for a little bit, little piece of change.
Yeah.
And Freiburg in the banana this game.
Yeah, so Freiburg was playing banana. We were saying, oh yeah, they've been doing poorly on Inferno. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 Inferno matches, and Freiburg's like lowest on the charts in terms of stats. And we're like, oh yeah, it's because he's playing A. And now we see him at B, and they win.
It's a coincidence? I don't know.
Well,
with sample size of 1, I think we can consider it a fact now.
The king and the green wall has returned, I suppose, the king of banana. Either way, we're going to be switching gears now, going over to train. Can we expect a similar showing here?
I mean, I think so. Luminosity, I thought Inferno was their map, you know, to pick against other teams, their strongest map against Train. Yell is going to have to come up huge with their op because, you know, OpTic has, you know, 2.
Yeah, I think that's another storyline of that last match is that Yell was relatively kind of silent with his op. I don't remember any big plays happening.
Well, it seemed like at any point they just had just a rough time getting going. There was no momentum over there on the Luminosity side, and that's just the way the cookie crumbled. Either way, we're going to do a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be jumping into Train. We've got OpTic and we've got Luminosity, so don't go anywhere.